Alright, I'm ready to keep doing some more development on this application, YouTube Playlist Spy. Took a couple hours break. Ate some lunch. Drinking an energy drink now. I apologize for the low energy level in these videos, but if you had any idea what I'm going through right now, you would be absolutely amazed that I'm even doing what I'm doing now. Even till the very end, I'm still trying to be creative and productive. Doesn't count for jack all, fuck all. Doesn't give me any currency. But talking about that's not really the purpose of this. So I won't get into it now. So I did look up how to get these text boxes to be read-only. It turns out that I need to set is read-only equal to true, and I'm not sure where exactly that is here in the properties display. You'd think it would be in common, but it's not. So that's what threw me off earlier. Not sure why it's not appearing anywhere. See if I can search. Really? It's under text? Oh. I never saw that you could expand this out. Alright. Usually when I've been doing WPF and XAML, I usually do it just manually here in the code itself. And so I knew that you could do is read only equals true. But I've been trying to get away from that. And I know it seems strange to try and get away from using code and use the interface instead, but before I would do everything in the code manually. I'd manually type out stack panels and rearrange, copy and paste the actual code, but it's not the most effective way to work, even though it's maybe familiar to me because I'm used to working with code in C# proper. Anyways, enough rambling. Let's get on with it. What I want to do in this is I want to work backwards. I've created the basic UI. Now I want to work backwards and create the interaction with the view model. So I think a good place to begin is go into my main window view model and start creating the fields that I'm going to need to bind to. So I could create like a new class to hold all of the things that I want to bind to. I don't know if that's actually like a proper MVVM practice, but instead I'm just going to have a separate property for everything that I need to bind to. Everything. But before we can do that, well, no, let's start with that. Let's just start creating some properties. So let's just move this over here. And I'm also following the footsteps of Chris Courtois. I don't know exactly the precise pronunciation. He's never said it in a video or anything, but I'm going to do some development while listening to Genesis. This is just a greatest hits. I don't think I have any legitimate albums, full albums by them. Just this compilation, I guess. Oh well. Alright, so we're gonna create a place to store our text box. So, whoops. Why can't I type in here? I accidentally typed something in here. There we go. So, damn it. Okay, so we were going to call this URL input. And yeah, we'll just leave it as string. I could try and make it a URI, but let's not do that. All right, so let's create some more properties. We're going to need to bind to the title. And I'm going to have to do some extra, like some extra stuff in the gets and the sets for this, but we'll do that later. Let's call it playlist title just to be more precise about what this is. Because I do have the idea of allowing you to see some precise information for specific videos in the playlist. Though I don't yet know how the UI for that would work. Like there'd be a selection box here, and you could, and it would populate with all the videos in the playlist, and you could click on one, and it'd give you detailed information about that particular video. Seems like a pretty good thing that I could do, but that's kind of beyond the scope of what I want to accomplish with this, so I don't know if I'm actually going to do that, but I will create this to be with that idea in mind so that it's extensible, and I'm going to put this up on GitHub. So if anyone wants to expand the project, they are able to do that without having to rework too much. All right, so we're going to need a string for the owner. Did I say playlist owner? I don't think I need to say playlist owner because there's not going to be any other type of owner. So number of videos, we can just use an int. Doesn't really need to be an int. Does it? Yeah, we'll see. It should be fine. Let's call this playlist video count. Last updated is going to be a date time. Duration. Do I have that? Whoops. I forget which format I have that in. Also, I'm using Eincrou now because I noticed that when I was not using Eincrou in the previous two recordings so that I could record at 60 frames per second, there was a problem with seeing like this IntelliSense stuff. IntelliSense was not being captured for some reason, I think. I didn't really look too closely. I might have not been looking right, but the performance of monitor capture with Eincrou enabled is terrible with OBS, so the frame rate does dip quite often, I see. I've got it set to capture at 24 frames per second because it can't capture at 30. Like right now it's at 22, 23, so I don't know, man. Let's just continue. Alright, so we need another int. Call it a count if we're going to be adding things together. I can just call it a count. All right. So we've got the basic things here set up. So I can now attach them to the text property here. I think I need to build first though for this to work. So I can see all of my properties available here. Oh, I should have used shoot. Should have done this first. If I want to use ReSharper's by property notified thing, I have to create backing fields. There's no need for anything outside of this to set. We'll have it read only. Wait a minute. Why didn't it notify on property changes? Oh, because it can't be set to read only here. Alright, whatever. There we go. To create specific backing fields. Whoops. For this to work properly, can't use auto-implemented properties. Alright, so let's get rid of these. Everything except for total comments count, which is not appearing here, thankfully. Let's get these in the right spot. I need to make sure that I wasn't just seeing things, because the performance with this is just really bad. Constantly going down like 20 frames per second. Alright, so let's create a region here because there's a lot of garbage. Not garbage, it's good stuff, but I want to be able to collapse this. Oh, come on, it just formatted everything. Jeez, I hate it when it does that. Can I undo that? No. Okay. So I will be able to set these properties in here. And it will be able to notify these to update. So now that I've got that set up, I can go back in here and do the bindings. Let's rebuild. Make sure. Now, what is this? Total comments. Let's set the data binding there. And it's changed it to a 0. Okay. That's good. That's what we would expect. I can put some dummy data in here later. And also these... I might not have it work like this. I might have this work in a different way. This is probably going to be fine. I'm just thinking about how I get... This is basically just a pass-through. These are just pass-throughs for information that's going to be stored in the YouTube playlist object instance that I'm going to be creating. And really, it shouldn't be necessary to have separate backing fields. I should be able to just simply just pass the information through and just manually tell the UI to update each individual thing. I can just... I don't know. That stuff's all coming later. I don't need to think about that right now. So let's just get this done. This is very simple and doesn't require any thought. It's just hooking things up. So total video view count. Total duration. Oh, nice. And it gives me different ways to display it. I may actually have to do this. Actually, no, it's not going to be a date time. It's going to be a time span. Of course. I got to rebuild. I think that's why it's not showing up. There it is. I think the default display should be fine. I might set this as a string, end up setting it as a string so I can control exactly how it displays, but for now this is fine. So last updated. I don't actually want the exact time because that information is not actually going to be available. Just want the date. Why does it keep going down? Yikes. This is weird. Day. Yeah, I don't think I can actually display it straight away. I have to actually... Oh, can I do string format right here? Oh, this should pretty much be what I want. What is the Z's? There's some Z's there. Hours, minutes offset from UTC. I don't want that. Oh, okay, this is what I want. Wait, no, it isn't. Okay, yes, it is. It should be what I want. It doesn't really look right. Ah. They got some presets. Alright. Yeah, it doesn't look like... I guess once I get some real data in there, it'll be fine. I don't know. I also need to set these read-only. I can do these all at once, so... So, playlist views... Alright. I don't think I set up a field for that. Owner, number of the videos... Yeah, I skipped over that. I type that name out of the correct format. Rebuild. I wonder if you can do... Like, you can create just whole sets of dummy data in Blend, but I don't know if you can do that here in Visual Studio. Maybe not. All right. So we've got everything hooked up. It's all garbage at the moment. See if it runs. These are all read-only. I can't type in them. I can type in here, but obviously nothing happens. We'll just get the button working. So this is not the correct way to do this. You're supposed to create a command. You're not supposed to have anything in the code behind for the main window, but I never actually figured out how to get that working. Maybe I'll look it up and try and get it working for this application, though. All right, so what we want to do is get the text box and send it over here to our URL input. We don't need property change for the URL input. I don't think. But it doesn't really matter if we leave it there for now. So we're gonna, we need to grab the view model first of all. That's the problem with doing stuff in the code behind, is that you have to actually get the view model. And ReSharper kindly adds the namespace for me. And since we're instantiating the view model in the XAML right up here, that's what this actually does. It instantiates an object. I need to be able to find this object that we're using for the view model, but I can access it here. Okay, so view model. We need to find it. And it's find resource. And I think ReSharper's going to help me here. Nope, it does not. So find resource returns just an object, so it allows you to find any resource, but we specifically need this to be a view model. Well, a main window view model, sorry. Okay, so now we have access to the view model. And so let's access a method on the view model called getPlaylist. All right, let's be a little bit spicy. Nah, that's not it. Let's be professional. Get playlist info, and then we want the text box text. What did I call this playlist? All right. So we're going to call this method that does not currently exist. We're going to feed it this text. And I'm not going to actually do any logic for that yet. I'm just going to create it. I guess I do that this way. And it doesn't return anything. And we get... Yeah, I'm just going to call it text because we don't necessarily know if it's a URL right now. The first thing we need to do is check to make sure it's a valid YouTube URL. And actually, maybe I should return a bool. So I can do it like this. So So if this returns false, then we're going to do net message box invalid playlist URL. Please try again. Caption, valid URL. Just say OK. And we'll have error. I'm just going to return false here so we can test it. So we're going to end this video on hopefully a high note with something actually doing something here. Invalid YouTube playlist URL. Please try again. Okay. So I'm going to fix this. Continue throwing that exception so that I don't screw anything up. Actually, I want this to go up here. So that's going to be it for this video. I hooked up the stuff here to the ViewModel. Got my basic properties exposed. These I think are definitely going to change. They're going to have to change, but just getting things basically set up is good enough for now. So in the next video, I'm going to set up... Well, I'm going to set up getting the playlist info. Let's just work backwards. Seems fine to me. So I'm going to cut it off now. Bye.